Shana Tova again.
Shana Tova.
I don't want to talk about it. I just don't. I don't want to talk about the military on our streets. I don't want to talk about the attacks on science. I don't want to talk about the corruption of justice. I don't want to talk about intimidation. I don't want to talk about deportations. I don't want to talk about vaccines. I don't want to talk about the erosion of our basic freedoms. I don't want to talk about it. These topics, they come up with family, with friends, with neighbors. I don't want to talk about them with the ones I'm closest to, because we already agree, and all we do is fan the flames and heighten our anxiety. I don't want to talk about them with my next circle, because we might not agree, and any little disagreement could splinter that relationship. And I don't want to talk about them with anyone else, because I'm scared. Scared of raised voices, of vitriol, of pain, of hopelessness. I am scared to talk. Let that sit for a second. I am scared of conversations. Never in my life have I been scared or afraid to talk. Sure, I've avoided awkward conversations. We all have. I've chosen to live and let live on some issues. But now, I don't want to engage at all. And as a private person, I could do that. But I stand before you, not as a private individual. I stand here as your rabbi, which means I cannot let anxiety dictate my words. I cannot retreat into silence. Still, I don't want to talk about those things right now. Each of them deserves time and patience, attention and detail. None of them could be addressed properly in the few minutes we have here. And besides, that list is not even close to exhaustive. But I will talk about talking about them. We live in a country where anxiety is at an all-time high. The chasm between political parties makes the Grand Canyon look like a crack in the sidewalk. Even within parties, divisions and mistrust run deep. Our public square is toxic. This sermon is not a call for unity. We cannot be united until we can even speak to one another. This sermon is more like a cry in the dark. My safe spaces, my affinity groups, my clubs, even my friendships feel more fragile than they used to. To protect them, I shy away from the contentious. To protect myself, I scream into the void. But today is Yom Kippur, and today, of all days, we are called to speak. When we hear the haunting melody of Hineni, we hear a voice of trembling humility. Here I stand, unworthy, flawed, and yet I must speak. When we recite the Alchet, we name, not silently but aloud, the sins we know weigh upon us. And when we remember those we've lost during Yizkor, we say their names, even as they pain our hearts. On Yom Kippur, we do not stay silent. Silence may feel safe, but our tradition warns against it. The Talmud says, whoever can speak against wrongdoing and does not is held accountable for it. Silence is not neutral, it is a choice that sides with the powerful, the loudest, the ones already speaking. The prophets knew this. Isaiah cried out, "Cry aloud, do not hold back. Lift up your voice like a shofar." Jeremiah shouted against corruption in the temple courts. Amos thundered against injustice in the marketplace. Prophets were not comfortable voices. They were unsettling voices, but they spoke because silence was complicity. And Jewish philosophy reminds us what speech is for. Martin Buber teaches that true dialogue, the I-thou encounter, is not about winning, convincing, or debating. It's about presence, about meeting another person as a whole being, not as a problem to be solved. Buber writes, all real living is meeting. To refuse conversation is to refuse relationship. That doesn't mean shouting matches. It doesn't mean proving ourselves right. It means conversation, a chance to listen without judgment, a chance to speak without assault, a chance to be heard. I said before that I'm scared of talking, and I am, because the issues before us are vital. They are existential. They shake the foundations of our world. And that is precisely why silence is so dangerous. If we leave the field to the loudest voices, we abandon it to rage, to misinformation, to cruelty. Yom Kippur reminds us that speech is not optional, it is necessary. Think of the Kol Nidre prayer that we said last night. Every year we gather at the start of this day to release our vows, the ones we made to God, because we know the power of words spoken. Words bind us, words shape us, words create reality. If silence can protect us, it can also destroy us. But words, careful, courageous, honest words can heal. So today I urge us, overcome the fear of conversation. Enter into dialogue, not debate, not insult, not performance, real dialogue. The kind where we risk being changed, the kind where we allow the other person to be human. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel wrote, "Speech has power. Words do not fade. What starts out as a sound ends in a deed." We cannot fix the world's fractures in one conversation, but silence guarantees nothing changes. Conversation alone is not the solution, but silence is pointless. On Yom Kippur, we stand together as a community, as ourselves, and we talk about it. I urge us, may we find the courage to speak, the humility to listen, and the faith to believe that our words, spoken in love, in honesty, and in hope, still have the power to change us and to change the world.